Warm greetings, Code Monkeys and fellow VEDSies. Welcome back to CodedLockFilms. I want to start off this commentary by clarifying a couple of things. First, um, I want to say that the response to the reviews that I've released this month have been quite positive, and I'm very pleased with that. I've put a lot of work into these. I think they're very good, but some people have taken my comments about how I don't like some of my older videos and taken that to mean that I hate everything I've made up until this month, and I don't. I do not want to give that impression. Um, and people have also taken that to mean that I don't like my older style of reviews where I'm making jokes interspersed with the analysis. That is also not true. I do like that older style of video. Um, it's uh, it's the execution of some of my older videos that I don't like. And a lot of people do still like my older and even some of my oldest videos, and I'm really glad they do. Um, but there's that old saying about how everybody is their own worst critic. Um, and while I don't think that that's true of everyone, I certainly think it's true of myself. And I have to be that way. I have to be my own worst critic. I have to be my own worst critic. I have to be hard on myself because if I am not, then I stagnate as a creative person. I stop making an effort. I stop trying to push myself and to keep improving. Um, I really think that the time period between when I made the Pocahontas 2 review and the review of Sky High is when I really sort of defined my personal style and what I like to do with these videos. And just because neither of the reviews that I've done since coming back have been those longer form videos, that does not mean I'm not going to do those videos anymore ever. Because I am. I enjoy doing those videos. They're quite fun to make. It's just that the two movies that I have done um, are not suited to that style of video. This is not suited for that longer form review because it doesn't it's not the right story to be making a ton of jokes about. By the way, the eyebrows, the flesh above the eyebrows on this chief, just pay attention to them. They keep folding over his headband in a way that just doesn't happen. And it's really kind of freaky looking. I don't know who was in charge of animating this chief, but they needed some help. Just keep watching him, and you'll see what I mean. Like right there, yeah. But you can see it a little better in some other angles. But anyway, um, Beauty and the Beast, the review revisit. The reason I didn't do a long form review on that one, I think that movie can be made into that more long form review style. But in the case of that would have been like taking sort of a full mulligan on that review. And that's not what the review revisits are about. They're not about redoing old reviews that I didn't like. They're about clarifying things that I think are in need of some kind of clarification. And in the case of Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas, it's just that I don't think I made my case particularly well in the previous review. I just sort of took it as read that that movie was bad, and if you were already on board with that train of thought, then that review is fine. But there are some people who watched that watched that review who had never seen the movie before, and there are even some people that really might not have thought it was all that bad. And for those people, I don't think that review is particularly effective because it doesn't make the case that this movie is bad very well. I didn't explain why it was bad to great effect. Um, and that was why that was a more short review, because it was about making that case, not about trying to completely redo the video. Um, Another thing I want to clarify is that when I said that Pocahontas should not be adapted into this sort of children's story, a couple of people have taken that to mean that I do not think Pocahontas should be adapted into a kids movie at all. And I don't think that. I just don't think it should be adapted like this. This is the wrong way to go about it. You can adapt the story of Pocahontas into a children's movie, but you have to treat the setting and the events with the respect and the seriousness that they deserve. That's part of why I like the movie The Prince of Egypt so much, is because The Prince of Egypt takes its audience seriously. It doesn't gloss over and sanitize the unpleasant parts of that story. And it and this story, the story of Pocahontas, could be done well like that, because Pocahontas did have a very fascinating and interesting life. But when you try to clean it up and skirt over all the ugliness that happened in this period of history, you lose the effect of how interesting her life was amidst all of the problematic things that come with sanitizing this story. And kids can handle unpleasant things. They can handle dark events. They really can, and I don't think people give kids enough credit in that regard. Like I said, in The Prince of Egypt, I really, really like that movie, and while it may not strictly be based on historical events, it's based on biblical events, it doesn't skirt around the unpleasant aspects of the story of Moses, of which there are many, because that was how the Old Testament rolled, man. It doesn't skirt around the plagues of Egypt. The death of all the firstborn children, or firstborn sons? I can't remember if it was specifically sons or if it was just firstborn children. But the death of the firstborns is a horrible and tragic thing. And it was God's last resort, because nothing else was getting through to the Pharaoh. And the movie treats it as such. The movie treats it with the reverence of that it deserves. It was a last resort. It was a terrible and horrible last resort. And it was incredibly tragic. And I'm not saying, like, they don't show kids being horribly eviscerated or anything like that. You don't need to be graphic with it. But you see the Pharaoh grieving over the loss of his son. You hear the deaths. You don't see it necessarily, because you don't need to see it. But you hear the deaths of children happening, and it's horrible, and it's tragic, and it works because it takes its child audience seriously. I mean, I would classify Prince of Egypt as more of a family movie than anything else, but I think the main focus was on a children audience, and it takes that audience seriously, and it understands that children can handle dark and unpleasant things. And this story could be done well in that respect, if you treated it with the same kind of respect that sort of movie did. So that was really the other thing I wanted to clarify, is that I do think Pocahontas could be adapted into a children's movie, just not this kind of children's movie. This last little bit of speech here, I practiced quite a lot, and I did quite a few takes of it. I did about 5 minutes of takes on this one, because I really, really wanted to get this all in one take, because I felt it would have lost something if it had jump cuts in it. So I worked really, really hard to get this particular take down pat. And I really like how this video came off. It's definitely probably my most serious review. And I am glad people have enjoyed it. So I will be back tomorrow with some more stuff for you. I hope you all look forward to that. And until next time, co-monkeys and fellow VEDSies, I will see you tomorrow.